Hello, NBA fans. Every day we have news about the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm a Lakers fan and I ask for your help by subscribing to the channel and giving me your thumbs up. The Lakers are 3-2 this season, and Austin Reaves has been outstanding and has fought hard to fill in for Luka Doncic and other key injured players. But today was a day of encouraging news, and superstar Luka Doncic is listed as likely to return to play for the Lakers. It will be great to see Doncic and Reaves together and the Lakers looking for another win. Luka Doncic is practically recovered from his injury and will return to the Lakers. Luka Doncic likely to return versus Grizzlies. If he's ultimately cleared to suit up, Doncic will look to pick up right where he left off. In Los Angeles's first 2 regular season games, the superstar averaged a whopping 46.0 points, 11.5 rebounds, and 8.5 assists in 38.0 minutes per game. While LeBron James will remain sidelined as he recovers from sciatica on his right side, Austin Reaves and the Lakers will hope Doncic's return provides a major spark. His potential comeback would also likely push Jake LaRavia back to the bench. After missing out on the Los Angeles Lakers' previous 3 contests due to a finger sprain and leg contusion, Luka Doncic took a massive step towards returning to action on Friday. Los Angeles's 26-year-old superstar, along with the franchise's important summer free agent signing Marcus Smart, were recently given a new injury update as the team prepares for their first NBA Cup Group play outing against the Memphis Grizzlies. With their rising star Austin Reaves managing to hold down the fort in Doncic's absence for a few games, he may now be rejoined by the 5-time All-NBA first-team selection for their tournament opener, according to ESPN's Dave McMenamin. Luka Doncic and Marcus Smart have been both upgraded to probable for tonight's game in Memphis, per the Lakers, McMenamin shared via X/Twitter on Friday afternoon. With both Doncic and 2022 Defensive Player of the Year Smart likely to make their anticipated return, the Lakers could be injected with a massive boost on both sides of the floor for their matchup against the Grizzlies' electric point guard Ja Morant and 2023 Defensive Player of the Year winner and imposing power forward Jaren Jackson Jr. Sure, Los Angeles's future Hall of Famer LeBron James will still be missing from the lineup due to a sciatica diagnosis, but the team may now be positioned to win their NBA Cup Group even without the 21-time All-Star. In his first 2 appearances of the season, Doncic shocked the NBA world by averaging a ridiculous 46.0 points, 11.5 rebounds, and 8.5 assists paired with a 62% field goal percentage. As for Smart, the 31-year-old defensive-minded guard has contributed 7.7 points and 2.0 assists in 24.7 minutes through 2 games. Lakers writer praises Dalton Knecht for improved defensive play. Dalton Knecht didn't put his best foot forward with the Los Angeles Lakers during the Summer League. The Tennessee product had much to prove after a mediocre rookie season, but his selfish offensive ways and non-existent defense prevented him from taking a step forward in his development. However, while Knecht hasn't been stellar to start the 2025-26 season, his encouraging play in Los Angeles's last 2 outings caught the attention of a dedicated Lakers writer. The second-year wing, Knecht, was already struggling to secure a steady role with the Los Angeles Lakers, and his performances in Las Vegas sealed his fate, Lake Show Life's Maxwell Ogden wrote Thursday. In a span of just 2 NBA games, however, Knecht has unequivocally proven that he still has the tools to be a high-level contributor in Los Angeles. Knecht scored 16 points in 25 minutes, adding 2 steals and a block, during his first high-usage game of the season on October 27 against the Portland Trail Blazers. 2 days later, he posted 15 points in 36 minutes, adding 2 blocks and a steal as the Lakers defeated the Minnesota Timberwolves. To be clear, Knecht's efficiency still leaves much to be desired, as he's currently shooting 44.8% from the field and 18.8% from 3 on the year. Still, the former first-round pick's feel for the game appears to have improved slightly as of late, enabling him to play under control against the Portland Trail Blazers and Timberwolves. Of course, Knecht's increased playing time/role is the result of the Lakers' injury-filled roster. That said, the 24-year-old should be applauded for making the most of his current opportunity and showing positive glimpses on the hardwood. JJ Redick wants Jake LaRavia to use Timberwolves' performance as reference point. Austin Reaves is getting all of the attention after yet another ridiculous performance in the Los Angeles Lakers' victory over the Minnesota Timberwolves. A buzzer-beating game winner will undoubtedly go on his career highlight reel, but Reaves also had some help on Wednesday night, and one player who stepped up big time was Jake LaRavia. The Lakers signed LaRavia hoping to be able to unlock his potential as a two-way wing, and he put forth his best game as a Laker, knocking down 10 of 11 shots including 5 of 6 from three-point range to finish with 27 points and 8 rebounds. Afterwards, Lakers head coach JJ Redick had a lot of praise for LaRavia about what he brings to this team both on offense and defense, wanting him to use that game as a reference point, via Spectrum Sportsnet. Very early in his Laker career, but clearly his best game as a Laker. I'm really happy for him, and I know they showed something the other day. I think it was the Amazon video about reference points, and for Jake as a Laker this game now is a reference point. Not only for the offense, again he's had 2 of the last 3 games he's been phenomenal defensively. His activity level, deflections, I'll find out, but 6 or 7 deflections tonight. He ended up with 1 steal and a block, but that doesn't really capture his level of activity defensively. And then just continuing to have confidence in his shot and belief in that was big. As Redick said, this is early in his Lakers career, but this kind of performance gives everyone a glimpse into why the Lakers signed LaRavia. He has always had potential, but had been unable to carve out a consistent role for himself. Playing like this, however, will ensure he remains a part of Redick's rotation. Obviously he won't regularly score 27 points, but if he can continue to play with that confidence on offense, while making an impact with his activity defensively, there is no doubt he will be an important part of this Lakers team going forward. Anthony Edwards and Timberwolves fans want to know who Jake LaRavia is. Jake LaRavia's opportunity has been increased due to the injuries the Lakers have been dealing with, and he made the most of it to the point where Anthony Edwards and Timberwolves fans were wondering who he was as he was torching. Insight into what Austin Reaves' next contract may look like. Los Angeles Lakers guard Austin Reaves has been on a tear to start the season, making up for the losses of Luka Doncic and LeBron James by averaging 34.2 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 10.0 assists through 5 times. And Reaves is doing it at the perfect time as he can opt out of the final year of his contract next offseason and test unrestricted free agency. He is expected to do exactly that, as the Lakers offered him a max contract extension this past offseason, which he understandably declined as it could only be for 4 years and $94 million. If Reaves is a free agent, he will have the ability to make significantly more from the Lakers or elsewhere. And according to Tim Bontemps and Brian Windhorst of ESPN, the 27-year-old is expected to command at least $30 million annually in his next deal. He's always been a very good player, but now he's in a role where he can have the ball and generate a lot of offense, a West executive of Reaves. Someone is going to pay him a lot of money next summer. The belief around the league is that $30 million per year is the absolute baseline for Reaves' services. There are currently 59 NBA players making at least that much. Another executive theorized that with Reaves being able to get as much as 4 years and roughly $180 million from another team in free agency, that a 5-year deal for more total dollars could be a good compromise to get a deal done to keep Reaves in LA. I don't think he's going to quite keep up this pace because LeBron will take away touches, the executive said, but he is good and the Lakers intend to keep him and he intends to stay, so my guess is it gets done. If Reaves can continue playing at or near the level he has to begin the season, then $30 million a year can easily turn into a full max of $40 plus million. A number of teams project to have cap space next summer and could use a lead guard, which Reaves has shown he is capable of in the absence of his 2 co-stars. 5 things we've learned from the Lakers' first 5 games. The Lakers have had an eventful first 5 games of the season. Here's what we've learned from them so far. The severely shorthanded Lakers team that went 1-5 in the preseason cautiously stepped its way into the regular season only to become just as banged up, but have somehow found much different results by going 3-2 in their first 5 contests. Prepared to be down LeBron James, the team has already also had Luka Doncic, Marcus Smart, Jackson Hayes, and Gabe Vincent miss time, and on the second night of a back-to-back in just their fourth game of the season had just 7 of their 14 regular contract players available. The games have not always been pretty, but after an opening night struggle fest versus a Warriors team that looks very strong, the team has won 3 of its next 4 games through a combination of high-level offense, steady production from its role players and some huge individual performances that carried the team home. As this has happened, camaraderie has fostered, and the team is growing together and leaning on each other, even though they've been nowhere close to whole. And, while the samples are very small and there is so much season left to play, we have still started to learn some things about this group. With that, here are 5 observations from the Lakers' first 5 games. Austin Reeves knows Kung Fu. One of my favorite movie scenes comes from The Matrix when Keanu Reeves' character Neo is uploaded with a series of training programs that will help him survive in the Matrix. After an especially long upload session, Lawrence Fishburne's character Morpheus comes to check on his prized pupil who sits up in his chair and says, "I know Kung Fu," to which Morpheus then responds, "Show me." The two then have an epic sparring session that is one of the most timeless action set pieces in recent movie history. It's also a pivotal shift in Neo's progression into the One and meant to symbolize that he is ever closer to not only being able to survive in the Matrix, but also to manipulate it and fulfill his destiny. What does this have to do with the Lakers, you might ask? Well, Austin Reeves knows Kung Fu. After a season where Reeves' growth as an on-ball threat was nurtured and prioritized within how the team would play, even after acquiring Luka Doncic in a trade, those reps and all the growing pains that came with them are now paying off in the form of Reeves outright carrying the Lakers for entire games offensively as both Doncic and LeBron have sat out with injury. In the 3 games that Reeves has played without his superstar teammates, he's tallied the following stat lines. It's not just the production, either. Austin's general decision-making and command as the main shot creator has progressed incredibly far in the past season plus, flashing an elevated understanding of how to manipulate the defense and then on what steps to take in order to capitalize on the opening he set up. Against Minnesota on Wednesday, he recognized early that the Wolves were sending multiple defenders at him in the pick and roll as well as swarming him when he'd come off screens or dribble handoff actions. After initially looking to score through this added attention, Reeves shifted to a more balanced attack, getting off the ball earlier in possessions and using the Wolves' pressure against them. His 16 assists didn't all come on these sorts of actions, but many of them did as he consistently hit Ayton in the pocket for jumpers, Jake LaRavia for open threes on skip passes and Rui in the gaps after both screens and cuts. And it's not just that he's making these plays against magnified attention, it's that he's doing it against high-level defensive groupings, where he's being pressured at the point of attack by all defense-level perimeter stoppers like Jaden McDaniels and Tamani Kamara, who are then backed up by rim-protecting bigs like Rudy Gobert and Donovan Clingan. In other words, these are not slouches that Reeves is finding ways to cook. And in passing these sorts of tests, he's showing that he's further along than even his biggest supporters would have expected him to be at this point. DeAndre Ayton has found his place. Ayton is the rare sort of player who is both universally understood to be talented both from a physical and skill level standpoint, while also not given the benefit of the doubt and nitpicked for all the ways he either does not deliver on that talent or, more specifically, does not do it in the way those same people would want him to. Time after time, critics will tell you what Ayton is not doing enough of, how what he is doing could be done better or just generally why his numbers don't impact winning at the rate expected when taken at face value. This led to some national observers to wonder if Ayton was even really an upgrade for the Lakers while others were seemingly relishing the moment when fans of the team would learn about the real Ayton who did not roll hard, did not grab the key rebound or did not defend the way he needed to on the game's most important possessions. And maybe Lakers fans will learn about that player eventually. But, so far, all they've seen is the version of Ayton who is trying hard to do the right thing on most every possession, is hitting his career averages with 16.0 points and 9.4 rebounds per night and is proving to be a wonderful pick-and-roll partner for the team's dynamic shot creators. More specifically, Ayton's ability to be a threat in the short roll and play in the pocket as a finisher who is more than comfortable sliding into mid-range jumpers, floaters, and runners in and around the paint is giving the Lakers an offensive element they sorely missed after trading Anthony Davis. Further, Ayton's natural understanding of how to screen, what angle to take, how to reposition and flip screens, when to slip out versus make contact, is proving very important to both Reeves and Doncic in helping them get open to create the level of offense they have. For example, on the aforementioned Austin game winner, Ayton deftly recognizes that Gobert is sitting up higher and waiting for the action to come to him, so Ayton runs past him into the paint, making Gobert divert his attention to where Ayton is going. Ayton then reverses course and runs back into the screening action with Reeves, leaving Gobert a step behind and rushing to get into position. When Reeves comes off the pick, he sees that Gobert is a beat late and approaching too wide, allowing the split of the pick that ultimately led to the runner that Reeves sank at the buzzer. Austin deserves the love he's receiving for making the shot, but Ayton's understanding of how to execute his role in that play was also critical. Yes, the sample is small. And I understand Ayton has the reputation he does for a reason. But, he's been a pivotal player in the Lakers winning the games they have, outplaying Rudy Gobert and Naz Reid twice and then totally dominating his matchup against Domantas Sabonis in the team's win over the Kings. This is exactly why the Lakers got him and is why I remain optimistic the team has found the big they need to help them against some of the league's best teams. Bronny James is not yet ready. I do not want to harp on Bronny James too much here. He's the team's 13th or 14th man on most nights and should still end up seeing reps in the G League this season when the Lakers roster is fully healthy. However, because the team has not been fully healthy in both the preseason and in their first 5 games, Bronny has been given opportunities to build on the growth he showed over the course of last season on both sides of the ball. And, well, while he has had some moments for sure, Bronny still looks pretty far away from being even a fringe rotation player. In Wednesday's win against Minnesota, Bronny got a single 5-minute shift in the first half but did not do enough to earn another stint in the second half. Instead, J.J. Redick relied on Nick Smith Jr. to be the lone guard in that lineup and extended the minutes of his other perimeter players to make up for Bronny not playing. Against the Blazers 2 nights earlier, Bronny did get more run and showed some on-ball defensive chops against Shaedon Sharpe and Jeremy Grant, but his off-ball defensive work was not as focused as it could have been, and offensively, he's still at his best in transition or by being a connecting player who works on the second side rather than the sort of on-ball player he's, seemingly, being groomed to be. This isn't meant to bury Bronny at all. But because he's gotten the chances he has against other rotation-level NBA players, it does show the gap that has not yet sufficiently closed to feel comfortable with him playing extended minutes in a game, even as the next man up due to injuries. And while that isn't necessarily a disappointment considering his age and where he was taken in the draft, for a Lakers team that is only carrying 14 players and who is dealing with the number of injuries they are, particularly to their ball handlers, it's hard to have him be as far away as he is. Don't give up on Dalton yet. The rapid fall from favor of Dalton Connect is both interesting, reflective of how quickly things can change in this league, and probably a bit unfair. Connect's early season impact last year had him being discussed as a steal of the draft. But after the Knicks trade that would have sent him to Charlotte, a phasing out of the rotation last year and then a series of struggles in Summer League, the preseason, and then to start the regular season, Dalton has spent more time in the trade machine than he has on court in meaningful rotation minutes of late. However, in the loss against the Blazers, Dalton started to resemble the player he was last year, and then even more so against the Wolves a game later. Racing out in transition for a lob dunk, driving closeouts into mid-range jumpers and taking threes without hesitation, Connect looked something that he just has not too many times since the team tried to trade him. Comfortable. Now, who knows whether this lasts at all? Confidence is a tricky thing, waxing and waning as much because of your own self-belief as much as the belief of others around you. Further, because of the team's injuries, Dalton has been thrust back into a real rotation role that could just as easily dissipate once Luka and Marcus Smart are back playing real minutes. But, with Gabe out for at least a couple of weeks, and very likely longer, I hope Dalton continues to get chances and, when he does, he plays with the sort of verve and abandon he's shown in his last 2 appearances. He's the sort of player who will never play mistake-free, but the potential of him as a scorer and shot maker is always only a couple of buckets away from bubbling over, and for a team that can bury opponents with high-level offense, he can fit right in with the ultimate strengths of this group. Luka Doncic is who we knew him to be. I will keep this portion short. Doncic has only played in 2 games and remains questionable for Friday's game in Memphis. The hope is that he will return to action at some point over the weekend, but time will tell. After the abundance of caution the team showed with him throughout the preseason and now in taking these games off, I'll simply say that I wish he were on the court more, but also understand that the Lakers and Luka's own medical folks want to be less brazen about him pushing through ailments. That said, availability aside, Luka was absolutely dominant in the 2 games he did play, torching the Warriors to the tune of 43 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists, and then following that up with a bludgeoning of the Wolves with a near triple-double of 49 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists. It's the how of these numbers that is most impressive, though. Luka is getting downhill and into the paint with ease, beating single coverage and high hedges, and then, once into the teeth of the defense, finishing with a proficiency level of mastery in and around the restricted area that resembles numbers you'd see from big men who dunk all the time. On the season, Luka is second in the league in drives per game with 20 per contest. And once he's penetrated the defense, he has made 75%, 6 to 8, of his shots in the restricted area and 92.9%, 13 to 14, of his shots in the paint that did not come at the rim. For longtime Luka observers, or even if you just watched him at Eurobasket, none of this is a surprise. This is the player who made 5 consecutive All-NBA first teams, the player who has terrorized opponents and led teams to the conference finals and finals as the best player. That said, watching him open the season the way he did for the Lakers was extremely reassuring, and I can't wait to see him keep it going when he returns to the court.